Work was created in Zimbabwe around 2003, um, and this was shortly before I went to Germany, and where I had my first exhibit in Germany at Cafe Latasse in southern Germany. Um, I mentioned that because this is where the work was sold. Uh, so when it comes to the subject matter of the work, it's a social commentary on my views at the time, 2003. That's 17 years ago. Um, on the social structure in Zimbabwe as I saw it. Now, all around, um, this work was created in 2003, and I was still living in Zimbabwe at that time. And it's a commentary on my views on society and the hierarchy we place on people based on gender. And in Zimbabwe, it's a patriarchal society, so fathers are the leaders, so to speak. But as one studies the culture, you see that there is there are two sides to it. In other words, the fathers are the leaders, indeed, but they get a lot of counsel or advice from their wives. And one learns this as you grow up, you begin to see the role that women play in the politics of society, the governance, the structure of society. On the surface, it might look like women don't play in how life goes about. So when I created the work, it was a series that I entitled "Honor the Women," because honestly, when you look at it, the amount of pain and struggle a woman goes through to bear a child and raise a child is is phenomenal. In a sense it was paying tribute to women and the role they play in society. And my work has been mostly abstract for a reason. I come from Zimbabwe, where social and political commentary is looked down upon and is criminalized actually. Um, so at the end of the day, the only way to create work that was social commentary but ambiguous at the same time was to approach it in an abstract manner, and that leaves a lot of room for people to interpret the work the way they want to interpret it. But within the circles, within the artistic circles, within people, amongst people who I talk to about the work, they can see where I'm coming from, what angle I'm taking with the abstract work. In terms of the color scheme, it's very drab, it's very dry, it's very pastel. It doesn't have a lot of life in it, and that's chiefly because Zimbabwe was going through. This is when the economic decline of Zimbabwe started, around 2003, and I lost about 40% of my savings within a very short amount of time. So it was a very dark period for me in Zimbabwe at that time. And I think that influenced the color scheme of it. But also, another factor that impacted the way I chose color back in the day when I painted this piece was availability. What colors did I have available that I could use? So that could have been a factor. It's been 17 years, so I'm not exactly sure what could have influenced the color. But my approach to color is I go by what I feel. I just flow with whatever I'm feeling. I go with that. I don't break it down scientifically to work with colors in a way that's enticing to the eye, so to speak. So I use color more as not color for color's sake, neither do I employ it to match the subject matter. Uh, it's a tool in the toolkit, and I just intuitively pick my colors. I know it's hard to understand as much as it is hard for me to explain, because when I create, I am not aiming. The end is not the painting. The whole purpose of my creating art is the creation, the actual act of creating the work. So at the end of the day, the work could be taken in any direction that the viewer chooses to take it, because they own it. The viewer owns the work. It's not mine anymore. Once I finish it, it's not mine anymore. I'm not the one to say what it's about. It's the viewer's experience and interpretation that makes the work what it is. So, that being said, these two pieces spoke to me in a lot of ways, because not only are they ambiguous and open to interpretation, but also because they were done at a critical time in my life, shortly before I left for Germany and had my first art exhibit in Europe, which was in southern Germany at a cafe called Cafe Latasse. Um, my friends helped me put that together, and that's where this work was sold. And just just being able to have that connection through the work with the people who bought it, hence the reason for this video, because they asked me to explain the work. It means a lot to me, because at the end of the day, the work is non-representational, so to speak. It doesn't hold a subject matter that you can gravitate to easily and therefore forge a connection based on that. It's abstract, it's ambiguous, and to see that it made such a deep impact and a connection with somebody else is really humbling for me, because it it shows me that I'm just the tool. I'm just the messenger. I My job is to put down the image on the canvas, and that's it. The rest is up to the viewer to interpret, to and to value as they will, so to speak. So that's about it on that piece. Um, yeah, there isn't much more I could say, except that I wish people took more ownership in artwork and just embraced it for what it is, um, to them. I say this because as I look back at my own work, I once I'm out of the mindset of the creator of the artwork, I begin to see it for what it is. There is a lot that one can uncover, and it shifts, it changes over time, because as our perception changes, our interpretation changes also. So the more experiences we gather from outside and then see a piece of art, those experiences will influence our interpretation of the artwork. And living with a piece of art, I live with my artwork, as you can see behind me. It's it's one of those things that I find interesting, because it's always a changing dynamic. It's always shifting. Even though the image is the same, I pick up different elements from it every time. And that's the joy and beauty of artwork, especially abstract work. So I hope that answers the question as to why I created these pieces. And like I said, they come from a series called Honor the Women. And yeah,